and I will install it. So this is a feedback that I got from one of my like a many user that install my app. It's like a limited feature compared to the other competitor. So I think
We are playing a game day by day. You find a problem. You love solving problems. You try to solve problems this way. Then
and when you can make an exit, it will be a good return on investment, and it will cover all the unpaid work that you work on that product and other failed products. So we're not only
that's mainly
it's like an accumulation of all of that. Yeah, make a first dollar, but not making a living. It's way different.
no. Like we did a big failure on this first SaaS. You will put all the experience, all the compounds of things that you have learned in the other product, and maybe that will make it more successful. Then at a point of time, we got stuck at the 500 MRR.
Trying digital nomad, partly like doing digital nomad stuff. What do you think about this lifestyle? Is it suitable for everyone? Give you your perspective about digital nomad. I will be sharing mine later on. Hi, welcome to Yellow Let's Code podcast, a podcast where I interview software engineers to share their entrepreneurial story. And here we are on our episode number 13, and we have Ayoub Moustaid. He is a software developer that is starting multiple SaaS, and in this episode, he will be sharing his successful and failed SaaS products and the lesson that he learned during this experience. So let's catch up after this intro. So welcome Ayoub to the podcast. I hope you will have a good time with us in this episode. Can you give us a quick introduction about yourself for the audience that don't know about you?
Thank you, Elias, for having me and for this insightful and valuable podcast that enlighten and give value to people. Mainly, I'm a digital or a serial digital entrepreneur. I'm working on building internet products from 10 years now. Mainly, I specialize in SaaS, Micro-SaaS, and iOS mobile apps. And that's my day-to-day operations.
That's good. Thank you for the introduction. Can you give us more about how did you get started in web development? So you mentioned that it's like 10 years ago. Can you give us more insight about the backstory of how you get started in web development?
Mainly, the idea behind web development or development in general is that I was someone from my early age who don't to do homework, and I was always like searching for something that helps to stay on this road or on this side. So the idea is I was always dreaming like to be either a sport professor or study something in the IT field. I went with the IT field. I started my journey in the technical school of Saleh. So the idea there was to not doing homework, and like when you are like playing with HTML or CSS or web or programming, it's like every day you come back from school, you start playing with HTML, CSS. It's like you are studying and in a gamified way, without having to feel like you are doing homework for mathematics or for physics or something like this. And from there, I started like loving programming, development, and all the related stuff.
Awesome. And can you give us more? So you study computer science, so you are coming from an academic background for computer science, so you study computer science, get a computer science degree, and start your professional career as a software engineer. Can you give us more insight about your first job as a software engineer?
On the classical path of every student, like to study, then to work for a salary and go from there. My first work was with the Sopra banking. I was an IT consultant. So from there, I went with CGD. I worked there as a senior software engineer. Then I worked as a project manager at the national television and radio in Morocco. Then from there I started my company in IT services.
Okay.
And with school and with studies, I was like doing some freelance work during all those years from 2013 or 2014 till 2018. I was always on the freelance work on the side.
Okay, awesome. So you have been working as an employee for all of this company, and you are doing some side hustle and some side freelancing gig just to be able. What was the reason? It's just like to be able to get an extra income or just to practice and learn new
No, so
technology?
for the freelance part, it was on the side of studies, not on the side of employment. So
Ah,
when I
okay.
was student, I was working like freelance, so to cover expenses, to cover the lifestyle I want to live. So the idea here was always that you have something to provide. So why not providing it through a freelance job or freelance tasks? So you can get paid for that, and that could help you with your studies journey.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
then when I started my employment career, I was like working on the side, but not as freelancer, but on my own projects. In my studies, I worked on client project on the side as a freelancer. Then when I was an employee, I worked on my own projects on the side.
Okay, makes sense. And you work for your freelance part. Did you work with Moroccan company or international company or a mix of both?
So mainly it's Moroccan companies. Mainly what I was doing is I go to Avito and I go for on the employment category, and I look for companies that are searching like for web developers position. I offer them like to create their website or to provide them with services without being engaged. It's a win-win because they won't have as a regular employee, they won't have to pay a lot of cotizations, a lot of things. I build for them the website they need, then they pay me for that. And from there, I started getting clients. Then in 2015, I started my software engineer studies. I started working with a company in Kenitra. It was for security. It was a security company. And I was the taking all the development stuff. So when they go for or when they work with a customer or client for the security part or and the camera installation and all those things, I they try to create need for him for having softwares, doing some stuff, helping him in or her in his operations. And I was the one who was creating those softwares. So that was mainly the idea. So I worked with them like 3 or 4 years. I was doing all the development stuff. They was doing all the security stuff, and we were working like this.
Awesome. So I think we cover a lot of ground about the backstory of how did you start in web development and some of the early days of you working as an employee, your side project, freelance stuff. Can you give us some insight about when did you started your company to be able to provide solution and kickstart your tech entrepreneur journey?
So to not lie here, I have never heard or know what that does it mean, the word entrepreneurship, till I start my first job. So
Okay.
all those years, I wasn't someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset or someone who sold something in his early age. The time I heard entrepreneur or entrepreneurship word was on a mission in my first job in Copra Banking. They were sending me on missions to Cameroon, to Douala. And there in the hotel, I was like doing networking, sitting on coffee with business owners from South Africa, from USA, from France. And from there, I questioned myself why they are coming here to manage and to do things for their businesses while I'm here just as an employee sent by a company to do work on behalf of someone. So from there, I started discussions with people there, and they opened my eyes. I discovered another context. I discovered things out of my comfort zone, things out of my box. So from there, I started looking and searching about entrepreneurship, about business ownership, about having your own business, about providing services. Why I'm here in Cameroon providing services on behalf of a company, while I could be here for providing services from my company or
Yeah.
from myself to those customers. And from there, there was this trigger that that pushed me to search and to look about this new world. Then in the next job, like in SNRT, radio and television in Morocco, the day I started working there in Rabat, I created my company on the first day. I have the same employment starting date is in itself the same day or where I created the company. So I started working on the side on the company there.
Awesome. That's really unique that you started your second job as like in at SNRT, which is the national television in Morocco, and at the same time you created
Yes,
a company.
it was like I created the company in an office where the door was in front of the door where I was working in the SNRT. And when I accessed the SNRT, it was mainly to try the public sector because I know I will go out. I will go work on my own company. So the idea of working in like in SNRT was to avoid any regret later, because I was
Okay,
hearing
makes
from
sense.
people that like public sector is a sector where you are free, where you have time, where you have. If I went from private sector to my own company and I quit, so I will always have that regret, and that is like maybe I would have work for public sectors. It's free. I have a lot of time and I can work on the side on my company. Why I didn't work it like on public sector? So I joined them, worked 1 year there, just to confirm that it's not gonna fit with me or with my vision.
Yeah, makes sense. I think this mindset of the public sector is like it's more stable in terms of income. You will get like a free healthcare. You will have more time. I think this mindset coming from our parents because they are experienced that, but it's not the same. It's not no longer the case. There is nothing stable even in public, private. Nothing is stable in life. I think it just like make sure that you made the right decision because before making like this big decision, you just need to think about it more, and you will have like plans in case it doesn't work, and also maybe you have like an emergency fund in case it doesn't work. There's a lot of things, but in life, nothing is stable. Even if you have like your own
Yeah.
company, you're working for another company, you are working for the public sector. At one day, you might get fired, even it's like at in a public sector. So this mindset, I think, this is coming from our parent, but I think it's no longer the case in our generation, especially with this like a new tech entrepreneur
Yes,
lifestyle that we got.
yes, that's mainly the idea. But there is some public sector who offer a lot of things, who offer this freedom, but it's a limited freedom. And as you said, nothing is stable, nothing is static. There is always downside and upside. The idea is just to have the position or the option that fit with your vision and with your why, and that will help you like to bypass the downsides and take benefits of the upside.
Yeah, makes sense. And also you mentioned that you did it because you don't want to regret it after. I think yeah, I think it was the right decision because I think you are when you made that decision, you are still young, you still have more time. I think you give it a shot like for like a year or so, and you decide this is not for me. I need to quit this job and start my own stuff. Yeah, sometime give it a shot. Does it if it doesn't work, just do a plan
Yes,
B. Yeah, I think
yes, I believe always in this idea that you should test things. Don't hear from people. You hear from people. You have a pre-hypothesis, but you don't assume anything without testing. Especially when you have time with you, you are at an early age. The best thing to do is to test things. So either you will have experience or you will have knowledge about the things that you tried. So the idea is to always try to test and to make assumption and from the test you have done.
yes. Test and move on to the next thing.
Yes, test, learn, and continue.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the next question will be about what was your first client or first project that was under the umbrella of your new company?
My first project was for like I think a doctor. When I created the company, I started doing like some Facebook ads to reach doctors. I launched a campaign like for doctors, the website for I think at the moment it was 5,000 dirhams. So I created a graphic in Canva and launched that campaign. So I tried that and I got some leads, tried to contact them one by one and worked with one of them to create his website. And from there I started all this client work. I tried to get on this SEO to rank on Google and all those stuff. And I started getting like projects, getting leads, getting proposals. So, and from there, like I worked about 1 or 2 years on this business model.
Okay. So you just started doing freelance work under the umbrella of your company for doctors. And when it was your first SaaS that you built under that company?
It was
In which year you are talking about?
middle 2020, like in middle
20
2020.
the middle
It
of COVID.
Yes, I think it's the start of the COVID, like
Okay.
the early months of COVID. Like we worked on a SaaS. That first SaaS was like for business management. It was completely a code source downloaded from Code Canyon. So we tried to make it better, to improve the UI, to improve the UX. Then we have we it's like we did a big failure on this first SaaS. We didn't know anything about that, but it was a great learning experience. Then, and to launch this SaaS and to have payment gateways, like we tried to create 2 companies in UK, and we have done a lot of stuff, a lot of process. And at the end, we didn't launch this SaaS, but fortunately, we got a small proposal to sell it to an
Okay.
Indian company. Then we moved on, and like from there, we started FastDoc and the other products.
Okay. So you mentioned the first product was a failure. Was it because of of the execution, or not launching too early, or launching too early? What was the reason behind that failure, if you mind sharing?
I think it's a combine of multiple things, and but the main thing is the failure to do a good execution, because mainly it's like we took a ready-made code source, we tried to make improvements on the UI and the UX side. Then we didn't done any research on the market. We didn't check any competitors. We didn't any discussion with potential customers. We didn't even define if there is potential customers. So it was an all-in-one pack of failure. So the idea is that when also there was failures on the technical aspects and failures on the functional aspects. So mainly on the technical aspect, at a point of time, when we want to integrate a payment gateway, like we found that the code source is only fit with Stripe. You can't integrate any other payment gateway. For that, we say that there is no problem. Stripe is not working in Morocco. We will create a company in UK. We went on that process to create a company in UK. We got that company ready. We waited for a few days. Like we created a Stripe, and we submitted the product to Stripe. Then they rejected it, saying that they can't accept this business. So later we tried to put the product on a new domain, to create a new company, and to submit again, and the same rejection. And when you have a rejection from Stripe, they told you that you won't have to appeal or something like this. Like yes, it's a final decision. After that, it's like we went to question ourselves, what should we do? What is the solution? So we went to use a new payment gateway. It's like in that month or that few weeks, it's like I tried 8 or 9 payment gateway. I did a big research about payment gateway. Then when I found like a payment gateway that we could integrate in that tool, and we want to integrate it, we found that database architecture should be changed completely, because the payment and subscription and charge is linked to user table, and user is a model linked to a group and permissions, and all that is linked to and the database was a little bit big. So
Okay, makes sense.
changing all the architecture of the database was just impossible. So we just decided, and even after that, we say let's try to do a one-time payment or something like this. But when we went to the market and we want to launch it, it's mainly a small ERP or a business management tool. We found that there is a lot of competition. There is a lot of CRM, and the competition in the CRM world or industry. So you can't beat Zoho, you can't beat a lot of big shark the market. So we weren't able to launch. It was just a complete failure to launch on that market. So I got the idea to put it on Flippa. And after a few weeks, we have got a proposition to sell it, and we have sold it, and we moved. But it was like a great experience where I tried payment gateway. from that day, I have never done any failure in terms of payment gateway. And I do, from time to time, I do some discussion or consulting with people. And this is one of the main problem people find around creating products and selling products is the payment gateway aspects regarding the Moroccan availability, because Morocco is not accepted in a lot of payment gateway. But so that's the idea that I try to share with people what I have learned, what I used, what worked for me. So it's a compound effect of experience and of learning. When you fail a first product, you will learn things that will be used in the second product. In the second product, you will do some failure that will be helpful for the third product. And when you will have the ninth product, you will put all the experience, all the compounds of things that you have learned in the other product, and maybe that will make it more successful with more odds to be successful. And so that's mainly the idea of the compounding effects in business or in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think you mentioned a good thing about when you are failing at business, just take it as a lesson and move on. I think your first product was a win, just from what I understand, because you got like a code from Canyon, you change it, and you sell it for, I think, at least that's cover the expenses for the time of development.
It's like we were paid for the 1 or 2 months we have put on the front end change. It's like a freelance job.
Yeah, I think exactly. It's like a paid project that you work on. And
it's a paid in terms of money and in terms of experience.
I think more in terms of experience, because this is what will lead us to the next product, which is FastDoc. People that don't know FastDoc, can you give us more detail about what is FastDoc, what it does?
So FastDoc, mainly it was born from the first idea of the business management tool that we have failed. FastDoc is a document generation tool that was mainly born from that idea to create just generate invoices. Then it was grown to be like a complete tool for any business document generation. We learned things from the first tool. We applied them on FastDoc. We did also some mistakes, but we're able to sell FastDoc for a higher amount related to the first tool. And we were able to drive it to popularity, but not to profitability. It's the problem we were having in FastDoc is how to be profitable after being popular. It's we were very popular, especially with Product Hunt. We were Golden 50 Awards and best productivity tools. So the idea here is we were, even when you type document creation or document generation, we were on the first line above Canva and other tools. But the idea is it wasn't profitable. There was some parameters and some things that make it not profitable. So that was the question for us to answer. Why there is all the people and all the users, there was more than 3,000 users in the tool, but all of them, the majority, are on the free plan. So the idea was why the conversion is too low, why people don't convert to paid plan. To answer that, at the early stage of the product, we planned on the launch. We used the lifetime deals. We have done some contracts with lifetime dealers. They bring us some paid users. We were having around 150 users paid. So from those users, we got a lot of high quality feedback and accurate feedback, as there was from feedback from paid users. So based on those feedback, we improved the product. We built a new version and a new release, a bigger release. So where we put things that were asked from those users. But the problem was that the majority of those users were asking for custom templates. And the idea we used at the first point and on which FastDoc was based is that if you are a business or owner or entrepreneur, you are mainly asked by banks, asked by other people, other customers to bring a business document, invoice, estimation, proposals, NDA, privacy policy, terms of service, and many documents. So to make it short for entrepreneurs, to help them got those documents and focus on their core business, we tried to create FastDoc to generate those documents in a click of button. So there were no customization. The documents were on the Anglophone standard. So if you want an NDA, you will just mention have some question to answer, and we will generate an NDA for you in a few seconds or few minutes. So the idea is that we will give you the business plan, the NDA, the invoice, the codes, whatever document you need in your business, we will give it to you in few seconds or minutes. So you have the document and you continue your core business process. Document shouldn't block you. If you want a custom document, that wasn't the main job of FastDoc. So we give you a legal accepted document. We don't give you a custom document.
Okay.
So we, at that time, we know that we should pivot to a new document generation software with custom templates. That was a little bit difficult in terms of development, because the architecture and the main idea of FastDoc was based on the first idea. It's we see it like a new whole product, and it will we will lose a lot of things if we pivot to that. So we just try to excite and solve FastDoc and keep that idea in the backlog for a new product maybe.
You mentioned that you ask your paid user for feedback. The most asked feature was like a custom invoices and document in general. But did you ask the free user why they don't want to switch to the paid plan? So that should make sure that, because the problem was the conversion rate was low to be able to get to profitability for a FastDoc. But did you ask the free user what was the reason behind not switching to the paid plan, so you will have at least more user, so we can cover the expenses of FastDoc instead of chasing that a big feature that is requested from the user about the custom document, which will not be fit in terms of the vision of the company, and you should make a huge lift for the company, for the product architecture, and you need to, I think you might also need to build it from scratch to be able to fit all of this requirement.
Yes. So I focused on the paid customers because they will give you accurate feedback. But we got also feedback from free users, and that was the main problem.
Okay.
And the problem that we have here is we were getting around 20 registration and new sign up every day from Google, only from Google, because mainly on all my products I focus on organic channels. I don't use ads rarely. All those 20 or 15 new sign-ups every day, they sign up, but few of them continue using the product. They come back to generate documents when they need them, but they don't use the products in a daily or regularly. So the idea here was that even that traffic acquisition channel or the traffic we were getting from Google, it wasn't looking for what we are providing through FastDoc. They were more researching for document generation and document creation for something custom. You have a lawyer or a notary who want to build his custom template, and every time he just put variables or put things to generate the document. So the idea is when people looks on Google for document creation or document generation, and they found FastDoc and they go into FastDoc, it's they need that custom templating or that custom documents. So and to confirm that and to affirm it, we were based mainly on the accurate, because if you have feedback from a free customer and a feedback from paid customer, of course the paid customer feedback will be more accurate, will be more harsh, and so it will be more helpful.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, because I mentioned because the problem was the conversion rate. So wasn't the product itself, but the conversion rate from switching from free plan to the paid plan. That's why I mentioned that maybe asking a free user will give you more insight about why they are not switching to the paid user. So at least when you have a certain number of paid user, you will at least cover the expenses of.
You won't switch from a product if you are not even using the free plan regularly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think you will be becoming a paid user after using the free plan for a certain of time, you are accidentally in a weekly basis or a daily basis.
And when you don't find the custom templating or custom document on the free plan, you just forget. So it was mainly the same reason. It was the look for custom documents or custom templates.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think we cover a lot of ground for FastDoc. Can you share us the number, like the acquisition number, if you mind sharing? If not,
Yes, yes.
you are,
Yes.
it's not a problem.
It mainly the product was like pre-revenue
Okay.
in terms of subscriptions. There was some revenue from lifetime deals, around 5K or 6K. So we have sold it for 18K,
Okay.
and it's like we just moved on. But because there is sometimes at a point of time, you just want to move to the next product. You are entrepreneur. Your most important resource is time and health.
Yeah.
So you want to take benefit of the time. You just want to move, but you don't want to move with the losers. So there is always opportunity to sell, to acquire, to get acquired, and to move, because you worked on something, you build above something, you gave an idea to the market, so it should be like monetized somehow.
Makes sense. So what was the next product after FastDoc?
I think we launched multiple products based on the learning from FastDoc, and all those products, because on FastDoc, the problem or the mistake we have done is that we worked on the product like for 2 or 3 months before launching it. So on the next product, we launched freelance, we launched the Twidin, but there were a product in the early stage. There were products that were launched like built and launched in few days, in less than 10 days, just to test the idea, to check on the market. And we tried to invalidate rather than validating them. And we were able to invalidate them and to move on till we like started working more on the Micro-SaaS industry, and like we created the Shopify app, Securify.
Okay.
So
So
there
you
were there were a bunch of products between FastDoc and Securify,
okay.
but there were like, and they gone to the graveyard at the early stage.
Makes sense. So you already validated them and not worth working on, and you move on to Securify, which is app for security that will be blocked IP address, and
Yes,
it will block visitor.
mainly it's block unwanted access for
Okay,
for
makes sense.
unwanted visitors.
And it got acquired. Can you
Yes,
give
it
us
was.
more detail about the app and acquisition part?
So mainly the app was an app for blocking unwanted access through address IP or country, and it blocks like the most known VPN, block proxy. We It's like we were working on the app for multiple months. There was some growth month on month. It wasn't monetized on the first month, it was free. Later, we added monetization. We tried multiple pricing. We did some multiple hypotheses. We add more, like we tried to add features that fit with user needs from the future backlog. And then at a point of time, we got stuck at the 500 MRR. So it's like the app was at like $500 for a few months. There weren't a good growth in the latest months. Maybe there was other channels or things to try, but for my list or for my marketing channel, I consumed everything. I consumed every organic channel on my bucket list, and at a point of time, like I decided to move, try to solve a new problem, and move on.
Okay. And can you give us the number, the acquisition value, if you mind sharing that?
Yes, it was sold around 8K.
And after that, I think you started a new Shopify app, if I remember.
No, that app was a failure. It didn't work like expected. Mainly, currently, still didn't started a new SaaS tool, but I'm working more on the iOS mobile apps. I'm launching some mobile apps. As I said at the beginning, I'm working on SaaS, Micro-SaaS, and iOS mobile apps. Currently, these 2 latest months, I'm focusing more on the iOS mobile app, and because it's not have a big backlog of ideas of Micro-SaaS, but not every idea is worth developing. Not every idea is worth building. What should be built is the problem, not idea for a tool or idea for a product. So the
Yeah, makes
idea
sense.
here is to wait for a real problem that could
So,
be built with a micro-SaaS.
makes sense. But you have a Navigate,
Yes,
which is a
navigate.
smart, Navigate, which is a smart menu navigation Shopify app. So this is one that you are talking about, or you have another one? Like the
No,
one that you mentioned, it was a failure.
it's yes, yes. Navigate is
This
the
one,
one that was a failure. It didn't bring any, very less installs. It's like we try to validate through building. So we built a minimal version of this app. We put it on the store. It's like we didn't got what we expected. I may say that it's an invalidated app because there is a lot of user that install it and disinstall it or uninstall it. There is a lot of we did have some discussion around the app, and it's we can say that it showed the difference between a vitamin product and a painkiller product. So the Securify is a painkiller product that solve a problem, that try to avoid unwanted access from stores, but the Navigate is a vitamin product that is not really something needed or necessary to have on your store. So from there, I think focusing more on painkiller products is the way to go, because vitamin products are something that is additional, that is not very necessary, not obligatory to have.
but from what you mentioned about you build a minimal viable product for Navigate, and from my experience working in the Shopify space, the menu navigation app, there's a lot of menu navigation app. Maybe because you will adjust a small version, because this is a problem that I currently have with one of my Shopify app. It's sometimes you will launch a project or a Shopify app, for example, let's we are talking about Shopify, and there's a lot of competition, but you cannot build a minimum viable product. You need to have like the same standard as the other one, or extra, at least extra, to be able to compete with that. Because for example, I am a user, I will install your app, and I will get like a limited feature, limited option, and I will install it. So this is a feedback that I got from one of my many user that install my app. It's like a limited feature compared to the other competitor. So I think some niches you should put more extra work in terms of the product to compete with other one. But for example, the Securify, the block access app, maybe there is not a lot of competition there, or maybe because they don't need like an extra option for that, because it just will be just blocking IP addresses. This is my assumption. I am not an expert here. I'm just sharing my perspective about the stuff that you mentioned.
So the idea here is either you will launch a product in a blue ocean, there is no competition. Yes. You will have the product, it will work because it solves a problem. However you develop it or however it looks, it will be working. Or you will launch a product in a red ocean and you will be competitive either on the price, on the UI or UX or appearance, or on the future. Yeah. So we'll have more features or less price or improved UI UX. My way to go actually is to build minimal, clean product that solve exactly one problem for micro audience. That's mainly the Micro-SaaS industry idea. I try to be competitive on the cleanness on the UI and the UX, and to help you provide user with a tool that solves his problem in the easiest possible way, without a lot of things, a lot of menus, a lot of buttons, and on the same direction to offer maybe less price, because I'm a solopreneur. I try to avoid any costs, expenses, or charges, and I won't do a lot of support because I solve one problem for micro audience. It's a micro niche problem. So this is my way to go. Mainly, I don't build product that will be attending the unicorn stage, but I build product that solve a real small problem for micro niche. And that was the idea behind Navigate. We tried to offer directly the main feature needed. I think we done that in the best possible way. We miss it somewhere, but it's a game. You have an idea, you check or validate it's linked to a problem, and if what you are bringing to the table is the real solution for that problem, and if it could be done or developed or built in a short time, then you go with it and you validate or check. So
Yeah.
that's mainly the process of how I work.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I bring this just to give
Yeah.
some perspective.
Wherever I found a big market with a lot of tools, I try to find if there is a clean, minimal tool that solves the main problem. Because mainly, if we say for all the document generation tools, a lot of them started as an invoice generator. So if I want to compete on this market, I will just try to find if there is an invoice generator that solves only the invoice generation aspect.
Yeah.
If there is no tool that solves that, I will try to go on this. And that's like trying always to niche down, to go to the deeper and the main problem that put people, like, because I have a lot of discussion around that, and a lot of people, they have a problem, they try to use a tool, but the complexity of the tool and the bunch of features of the tool sometimes is a downside that push people out of the tool. And me, I'm one of those users. If I have a problem and I access a tool with a lot of features, a lot of buttons, a lot of menus, a lot of screens, I will just sign out.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's better to just focus on one niche at one time. And
Yes,
after that,
mainly the idea, I try always to go and scale horizontally. If I have two problems, I will build two tools with 100 users in every tool. That will be with less support, less tickets, less charge and the work to do, and with two assets.
yeah, makes sense. Got it. Just like to split the risk in both.
Yeah, split the risk, and with every feature you add to your tool, you add support tickets, you add more work, you add more potential bugs, problem, and errors. You add more chat with potential customers, and that's the whole idea around that.
Yeah, there's a pros of
But both approach are good. Just
makes sense.
I'm finding myself in the second one.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because I mentioned that there's like a pros and cons for each one. Just
Exactly.
make sure that which one will fit you, and you just pick this one and move on. And I think after the Shopify apps, we have the iOS app. So we have, I think, Swift Ship, which is a Swift UI boilerplate for iOS app. You have Herit, you have Toolkit, you have EasyBoard, you have monthly budget planner and saver, you have hour tracker for time tracking.
Yeah, but actually more focusing on the Harris app. Like I'm pushing an update this evening. So like a few weeks ago, I started focusing more on the iOS mobile app. But I'm mainly more focused on the products that solve a problem and that could be launched in a store, in an app store, whatever it's Shopify, it's Apple Store or any other store, because it gives you a bunch of traffic. It helps you on the organic traffic. It helps you on the boost of traffic from those stores. So I try to go on the ways that make it easy to work on organic traffic.
Can you give the audience more detail about Herit app, what it does?
So Herit app, mainly at the first point, it was just an app to try to create a proof for SwiftChip that you can. It's like because Herit is an app that was done in less than a half a day.
Because
So
of
the idea, yes.
because of the Swift.
So the idea was to prove that with a boilerplate like SwiftChip or any other boilerplate, you will just have to develop the screen, the main screen or the main value proposition of your app, and you are there. And even the main value proposition, the main screen of Herit was completely developed by ChatGPT. So I didn't done anything from my mind. So the idea here was just to prove that, but after 48. So the main idea of the app is to help pronouncing words. So if sometimes my English is not too good, but the idea here is when you want to say a word or pronounce a word, I go to Google Translate, put the word there, and hear it, how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Yes. So I said, why not building an app where you push the word, you choose the language, and it's pronounced in that language. So you native accent or for native articulation of that language. I built that screen, Launched it on the store. After 48 hours, we got around 20 or $30 sales. So, and from there, we have some, actually, it's around $100 of sales every month. It's like for 3 months now or 4 months. Actually, we added I have added a new screen where you will pronounce words and check if you pronounce them correctly or not. Like the app will generate for you words on the basic or advanced level, and it tell you if the word is correct or not. So we'll try to push that update today and continue working on this and on other apps.
Okay, so currently your main focus is just iOS app, mainly.
Mainly, but if I found a problem that could be solved with the Micro-SaaS, I will go there. Because for me, the main idea is for Micro-SaaS is all the same. Is a software product. Even mobile apps are software products. So it's a software product that solve a problem, a defined niche or for a defined audience. So that's the idea. Whatever is iOS apps, Micro-SaaS, SaaS, or Chrome plugin or anything else, the idea here is you have a problem, you could solve it with a digital product, you go with that. So I'm not included into iOS mobile app. I'm just into mobile apps this period. But if I find a real good problem that I could solve with a micro SaaS or with the SaaS, I will go with that.
Okay, sounds good. I think it makes sense. So just move on with what is working for you. So I think go.
Yes, so mainly, actually, we have, as the way we do entrepreneurship is not like an employee or salary. You don't have, sometimes you won't have a regular income. Sometimes you may have a tool that is working as an asset and that generates for you the bigger income when you will sell it or you will exit it. So the idea here is to build multiple assets, to have potential multiple stream income, and to have a potential exit or sold for some of them if needed. As I say always for people, maybe if you have a tool, it may be not working for 1 year, you won't have any income, but you are growing and scaling the tool, and the day you will exit or sold it, you will have the return back of all those months without income or with less income. So that's the idea of a SaaS or micro SaaS. You are not focusing on making money from day one, but you are focusing on bringing the value, and you will get back later when you sold it or when you grow it.
Yeah.
So actually also for SwiftChip, we have actually around $500 or $600 per month. Actually, I think it's in 2,000 or 3,000 revenues from a few months ago. It's a game. We are playing a game day by day. You find a problem. You love solving problems. You try to solve problems this way. Then you move on. You solve another problem. You may succeed in it. You may learn. You may fail, but it's all a part of the process. And as I say, you don't control the income, and you don't control the monetization, and you don't control the revenue. But what you control is what you are doing, is your action.
Yes, exactly.
So I can't control how many apps I could build from now till the end of the year, but I couldn't control how much those apps will bring of revenue.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I will focus mainly on the things I control and trust the process, and I will get the results. This is thing you are sure about.
Yeah, I think this is the life of entrepreneur. You don't know how much you can bring to the table each month, and this is what make it unique. So each month will be different than the other month, and what you can control is the action that you made, as you mentioned, and just make the right action. And sometimes a project will, because each project will be an investment. We'll think it as an investment for you, and when you can make an exit, it will be a good return on investment, and it will cover all the unpaid work that you work on that project and other failed products. So we're not only
that's mainly
it's like an accumulation of all of that will lead you to that successful product.
Yes, because if you want to see it from another point or from another side, it's like when we sold Securify, we worked on it like with monetization for 8 or 9 months, and we were getting like $300, $400, and $500 per month. And the time it sold, we have got 28K or something like this. And if you divide it by the months, by 8 months, you will get a monthly revenue, medium, a median of the monthly revenue. So the idea is that maybe you will get paid of the monthly revenue later.
Yeah.
It's like you are working in the public sector. So when you access the public sector, after 3 months, you will get the payment of the first 3 months. You don't get them at other. So that's the idea. It's like you have a tool. I always try to compare products or SaaS or micro-SaaS for people, like to compare them to houses. It's like you have built a house, you have put time, effort, and budget there to build that house. And when finished, you will get a regular income from this house. Sometimes there is a rental, you will get paid for the monthly rental. Sometimes it's not occupied, there is no monthly rental. So you will try to get the maximum from this house in rental, and at a point of time you have an asset and you can sell it.
Yeah,
when you sell it, you will get a higher amount. So that's the same process for SaaS or micro-SaaS. Maybe you won't get paid from the first month or second month, but after a few months you will get paid monthly, and you will have an asset to sell.
Yes, exactly. It's like a long-term investment.
Yes, exactly. I'm always saying for people like starting SaaS or micro-SaaS, don't just jump from like employment or from the things that bring you your day-to-day salary to SaaS and micro-SaaS and expect that you will make money in the first week or second week. It's a long-term process that is based mainly on the value over money. So bring the value, then you will have money. But without value, there will be no money.
Exactly. I think, it's really risky to be able to just jump out of job or something
like
that you are.
Not like e-commerce or something. If you wanna work on e-commerce, I will say yes. You'll get some income maybe quickly, because you will run ads. If you run ads in a good way, you will have some sales.
I don't think so either. Like even e-commerce, sometimes you will not get lucky and you might just like a burning cash for no reason.
No, not from this aspect, but from making the first dollar. E-commerce can help you make the first dollar in your first day, but in SaaS, it's very difficult.
Yeah, make a first dollar, but not making a living. It's very different.
No. You can take it as your main source of income from day zero.
Yes, exactly.
It's something that you work on it on the side, and you go step by step till you validate, till you have at some level where you can jump completely.
Yes, exactly.
This is what we have done. What we have done with the company, because when I was an employee, I started the company on the side, and I was covering from the company money, from the salary.
The employment.
Yes, and I started doing service and IT services. Then later I jumped completely on the IT services. And then when I was looking like to stop IT services and stop client work and work on my own product, I started like lowering the percent of work I do for clients. Like I was working completely 100% on clients' work, doing things for customers. But at a point of time, I tried to reduce this amount of client work with my own product. And day by day, I focus on getting more income from my own product to cover living expenses and try to reduce the customer work till I jump completely from the IT services and client work to the own product I work on.
Yeah, makes sense. I think we cover a lot of ground for the SaaS that you made. I think we will switch into another topic, which is digital nomad. I think you already present yourself as a part-time digital nomad, partly like doing digital nomad stuff. What do you think about this lifestyle? Is it suitable for everyone? Give you your perspective about digital nomad. I will be sharing mine later on.
So mainly it's something that differ from someone to another, because the idea here is that you have a vision. So the day I quit my job, it was because, not because I wasn't free, either on the, because in the public sector, you are mainly free from, in terms of time, and you are
Yeah,
free
makes sense.
in terms of finance, but you are not free in terms of geography.
Yes.
Idea here is that, yes, so the first and the priority for me was to be able to travel and to be free on those three aspects, on financial, temporal, and the geographical aspects. So one day I wanted to go to Egypt for the African Nation Cup to watch Moroccan games, but my leave was was not accepted. So I just shut down the laptop and went without any authorization. So from there, when I come back, I just quit. So the idea is I was free on some levels, but for my why or for my vision, I wasn't free to travel. I was always linked to the company to start this journey. I'm not completely a digital nomad. I'm a partial digital nomad because I have a home here in Morocco. Because to be a digital nomad, you should not be linked to a given country.
Yes.
So mainly I'm partial digital nomad. I every month I try to go to a new destination. So as returning to your question, is something that's contextual to people. Maybe there is some people, I receive a lot of questions of how you are dealing with stability and with you. So the idea for me with work. So my answer is I'm more stable and I work more when I'm outside, when I'm on another country, because there is no engagement, no linking to anything else, no administration work, no papers, nothing to do. The only thing you have or task you have is to find food to eat.
Yeah.
That's what only left for you. Else you are in a coffee or in a place working. So the idea here is that it's just I'm in Morocco. I go to coffee or office or something to work. So it's the same thing as being on another country. For me, I don't find a lot of differences because the things I'm buying here in Morocco, the expenses I'm having here in Morocco, I just transfer them to another country and live the same way. So I try to get on it like this.
Makes sense. Got your point. My only my perspective about digital nomad that there is a bit of misunderstanding of that lifestyle, because in Instagram you will see someone in the beach working from the laptop, and it's not true because you cannot even see the laptop at the beach. Just to make sure that this is clear. And also, it's I think this lifestyle is really good because I started in 2022. I think I started my first international trip. It was in Bali, and from that it was a good experience. But just make sure to have the right expectation, because for me, I work from like a Monday because I have a full-time job. So
Yes.
I work from Monday until Friday, all my working hour and stuff like this. I have a flexible hour, so I can work whenever I want to, but I should finish the task that's assigned to me. And after that working hour, I can do whatever I want. So just to make sure I'm not in vacation, it's I am working, but I am working from a different location. It's different than a vacation because some people will think you will
Yes.
be just spending most of the time just discovering the place. Sometime you will just spend the full day just working
Yes.
in the apartment or the stay that you are at, working until midnight or something. Sometimes I have a call because I am working with a foreign country. I will have a call in a 2 a.m. in the morning or something like this. Just to make sure that you have this expectation for this lifestyle, but it's really good and I recommend it to everyone. I'm not saying that to be able to make a good impression about that lifestyle, but just to set the right expectation. So when you are trying that lifestyle, you will have that in mind. So I think we
Yes,
cover a lot.
mainly, yeah.
Sure.
For that last point, I completely agree. Yeah, you are not a vacation. You are not because when I travel sometimes to countries where I don't search for touristic places, because when you are nomad, you are not the kind of people that will go to Google and list all the things that you must see on that country. I remember I first traveled to UK, to London. My first time there, I just get my backpack. Like I was walking all the streets of London. When I found like a coffee somewhere, I sit and work. And after 1, 2 hours, I go walking for 30 minutes again and sit on another coffee. And between those coffees, sometimes I pass by somewhere like Kensington Palace or Westminster Palace or something that is a touristic icon, and I see a lot of people taking picture. I don't know what is this. So I ask people what is this. They say that this is Westminster Palace, and when I access internet and search, I find that this is an iconic one of the top places to visit in London, and I check it that I visited it without even being like, because I don't like going to places like tasks. This time you will wake up at 9, go there, come back, go tomorrow we'll go there. It's just focusing on more on the work, and when you have to see some places, you will just be there. Don't make them like tasks, because the idea is when you find something by hazard or by luck, it gives it more meaning.
Yeah,
Yes,
makes sense.
much better.
I think we cover a lot of ground here. I think we are about to end the episode. I think the last question would be a resources link that you would like to share with the audience that would like to get into tech entrepreneurship, and also link to your social media and where people can reach out to you if they would like to ask you about something.
I think for me, like some influential courses and things that helps. Like for books, I think I advise people to read the Make book by Peter Levels, the Compound Effect book. Also, there is the Indie Hackers community, and there is like people on Twitter. It's like it helps to open your eyes on out of context, out of the box things. You discover a new. It's like when you are on Twitter, it's like you are in another region or another location. You are not, because in Instagram you still linked or related to Morocco. In Twitter you are linked or related to other region, to other people, to other contexts, to other ways of work and process. So like Twitter and the Indie Hackers community are very helpful. So what was the second?
Some link for you, for people to reach out to you.
So mainly it's Twitter, as it appears. It's MSTD Ayoub, and my website is me. So mainly, and then also LinkedIn. So I'm active on Twitter and LinkedIn, both.
Okay, sounds good. So thank you so much, Ayoub, for this episode and sharing your story with us. I hope you had great time with us, and it was a pleasure hosting this podcast with you, and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Elias. I hope it was a little bit insightful. I hope people will go out with even a little bit of value if there was value. So and thank you thank you again. Thank you for again for having me, and thank you for the great podcast.
Thank you so much. And
it's great to have Moroccan podcast like this.
Thank you so much.